Hello again, guys, welcome back. This is Comic Kid here again, and today we have a bit of a more controversial subject, and that is going to be none other than the Snyder Cut of Justice League. Now, today we're going to be looking at some of the good and bad things that can come of it, and why I think it's generally a good thing. Now, for a bit of background that I'm sure y'all are already far familiar with, Zack Snyder did step away from Justice League right before its completion due to a family tragedy, and as we know, Joss Whedon stepped in and finished the movie, and what was released was kind of a weird, Frankenstein sort of film. The two directors' styles just did not mesh well together, and Whedon or the studio or someone ordered a bunch of changes to the script as a way of kind of redeeming the DCEU from the reviews and performance of movies like Batman v Superman and Suicide Squad. And so, because Snyder was so close to finishing the movie initially, Warner Brothers finally allowed him to actually finish it for HBO Max next year. Now, basically, since the original version was released, a lot of people have debated the even existence of the Snyder Cut as well as the overall quality of it. A lot of people just don't like Zack Snyder and think that he could not possibly turn out a better movie than what was already released. And a lot of other people really do like his direction style and have kind of already decided that the Snyder Cut is going to be the better version of the film. However, even releasing the Snyder Cut does kind of pose certain problems here and there, so let's start with some of the bad things about the Snyder Cut. This is a very unconventional relationship that the studio now has with their audience, and while I think it is a good thing that Warner finally decided to listen to their audience and go with the initial plan, it's a bit weird at the same time. It begs questions as to how do you market the film? Do you still do merchandise for it? We know for a fact that it's going to be a completely different movie, and so that does leave a lot of gray area from a traditional business standpoint, at least for Warner Brothers. Now, right off the bat, we do know that this is not at all a redo by any means. Snyder is completing his vision to the way that he always wanted it. Now, as soon as Batman v Superman hit theaters, the reaction to that movie did lead the studio to cause some rewrites in the initial Justice League script, but Snyder said that those changes were minimal until, of course, he departed the film and Whedon came aboard. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Snyder confirmed that this is his original true version for the Justice League movie. So whatever minimal changes were initially ordered at the time have supposedly been undone, and Snyder will now have restored his original initial version of the movie. Now, one of the other things, aside from being a marketing / merchandising gray area, is that the quality of the film is kind of gonna need to be judged as well. If it's worse, then Warner Bros. Can kind of axe everything there and move forward with these characters however they see fit, but it also begs the question is what if it's good? Now, in theory, the Snyder Cut will be the better version of the film just because it'll make more sense, it'll feel like one complete vision, not two. The story itself should be far more streamlined and less choppy. It also has the potential to make BVS a much better film. Now, I already liked BVS, but I might save more on that opinion for a different video. But, a lot of people were confused by the nightmare sequence. If they expand upon it more in Snyder's Justice League, then there's a chance that people will go back, revisit BVS, and call it a much better movie. Now, doing the Snyder Cut this way, and by doing things like releasing it on HBO Max, and with DC fully embracing their multiverse and stuff like that, it does kind of open the future for not necessarily Snyder to come back, but for his story to continue. Now, at the moment, there are all these rumors circulating that, oh, if it does good, Justice League 2 is gonna happen. Snyder himself has said that there are no plans for that at the moment, at least. But we do know he had at least a Justice League 2 in mind. And I'm not trying to stir up any conspiracies, but if the movie is good, then, you know, never say never. Warner Bros. Isn't gonna pass up on an opportunity to make more money. And Ben Affleck has already confirmed that he'll be back for The Flash, and so while I fully expect them to write him off there, I wouldn't be surprised if they've somehow managed to talk him into coming back some other way as well. Now, one of the only other major bad things that I can think of about this movie is it is still supposed to be the first Justice League. What a lot of people need to keep in mind about the film is that it's the first one. It was still designed to do a bunch of world building, expand upon the characters to some degree, you know, it's still introducing a lot of them. And so the film is very likely to not offer full closure for those who wanted the Snyder Cut. It was intended to be the first Justice League out of 2, and it's the third film in a 5-part Snyder arc, with the third one being kind of a mystery, either Man of Steel 2 or Justice League 3, supposedly. And so for what is going to be just the first one, you know, probably won't offer certain people everything they were expecting. That said, if this movie continues to tweak things for certain reasons, like there's supposedly Dick Grayson as the dead Robin in this movie, we're supposed to get kind of allusions towards that, but we're never gonna see stuff like that actually go into full swing. So, you know, if people don't like the idea of that being Dick Grayson's suit, then they may never get the chance to explain why they did that or why they changed certain things or whatever. So on the upside, it can expand upon kind of some of the more confusing elements in something like BVS, but it can also open up more doors for more controversy and more confusion and so on. It's gonna be very likely to just not offer full closure. Now, that is generally all of the bad that kind of comes out of the Snyder Cut situation. All around, I do consider them releasing the Snyder Cut to be a good thing, and that's for several reasons. For starters, anyone who considers superhero movies to be cinema should be kind of celebrating this, just because this is an artist getting to release his original version for the film. That said, doing something with characters this big, completely free of studio interference, is a huge deal. Now, if Snyder can stick the landing on this one, then he kind of gets to prove all the naysayers wrong. But, you know, it is also a good thing that if it sucks, this is the last of it. As far as even more good things go, you know, the fans themselves have raised, I think, over like $250,000 for the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, and I think that is a phenomenal thing that so many people in support of this movie managed to raise so much money for a cause like this. And to see it finally come out is just shows that all their effort was worth the wait. So now, releasing the Snyder Cut on a platform like HBO Max is also a much bigger deal than some people may realize. Though the theatrical version of the movie did not make a lot of money, this is a film that is very likely to bring a lot of new people to the streaming service, at least just to check it out. And then from there, like I kind of already mentioned, it opens the door for HBO Max to explore a lot more DC content. You know, DC is easily one of the biggest IPs that they have on that platform, and they're already porting everything over from the DC Universe app. So it sounds like HBO Max is hungry for more DC content, and what better way to do that than continue the Snyderverse on HBO. Now, obviously, these are just like rumors and wishful thinking type stuff, but like I mentioned, HBO and Warner Bros. Aren't gonna say no to more money. And if this is how they feel they can do it, then we may just get like a Man of Steel sequel on HBO or something. Cavill is supposedly staying on as Superman for the foreseeable future. So, to kind of recap then, I do feel as though there is far more good to come out of the Snyder Cut, then there will be bad. If the movie sucks, then it sucks and it stays on HBO Max and everyone can kind of say, I told you so. And if it's great, then I think it opens the door for a bunch of new possibilities. And, the entire Snyder Cut movement, for as annoying as some people may have seemed, did do a lot of good, and I think this is something to really celebrate in terms of art and, raising so much money as just a group of fans is quite substantial, and I think that's something that Snyder Cut fans should be proud of. Now, obviously, there are people who are gonna hate it right out of the gate just because it's Zack Snyder, and there are people who are gonna love it right out of the gate just because it's Zack Snyder. I will be keeping my opinion of the movie objective, and I'll probably be giving it to you guys at some point, but that won't be until all 4 episodes of it are out. And I can judge it as a whole in its relation to, BVS and, Wonder Woman and so on. But that is everything that I have for you guys today. Thank y'all so much for watching. Be sure to hit like and subscribe, and I will see you guys again real soon.